Hi, ladies. Welcome to Tech Talk. I'm Heather Snell. Oh, wait, I'm not Heather Snell.
Taller.
I'm Chris Postler. We're taking over the Tech Talk show today. I'm joined by
Mitch Haas.
Mitch in the house. And we are here to talk about an awesome topic, something that's near and dear to both of our hearts. Microsoft Excel. Excel basics. Excel advanced usage. We're going to talk about functions. We are going to talk about how to use that application, right? So we can get a lot of our consultants learned up on how to use Excel, how to utilize it in their business. We know some of you may be spending some time in Excel and you're more advanced. Mitch is going to hit on some of those topics. Some of you are brand new to it. You've never even been in. It scares you. It's foreign. You know what? I'm going to walk through some very basic uses so that you can get in there and start to learn your way, right? So join us, stay with us. I'm going to be right back in 1 second. We're going to flip this over to just a one-on-one, me with the new people to Excel, and we're going to figure it out. So thank you. All right, ladies, thanks for sticking with us. And I'm here and I'm going to talk about a little bit of basic Microsoft Excel, okay? So we're going to jump in there. Let's go ahead and look into Microsoft Excel. When you open it up, this is what it's going to look like, right? You're on the Home tab, you can see up here, Home tab. I'm going to start from nothing, from absolute scratch. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to create, in this example, I'm going to create an Excel worksheet about my sales, okay? Sales, simple, so I'm going to type in the first box, sales, right? Now I'm going to do sales by month. So the first month I want to be is January, then February, then March, then April, okay? So we've got 4 months, the 4 months that we've been through here. I was with Pure Romance in 2016, and I was with Pure Romance in 2017. So I'm going to put those as my headers right here. And because I'm somewhat, analytical and by nature anal, I'm going to reformat those and put those, center them. So I highlighted both and I clicked on this little center button here. I also want to put a border around that. I go to all borders and now look how pretty that looks. The boxes at the top, right? So now I'm going to enter my sales for January 2016. I've created my matrix. So in January of 2016, I was doing really well. So I sold $3,000, okay? In February, I sold $1,500. I'm going to key that into the box. Next, $2,000. And in April, I had a great month. I did $4,000, okay? Now, first of all, this is not formatted, right? There's no commas in here, how you would want normal numbers to look. If I highlight these numbers, all 4 of them, and I click this little comma right here, it gives me the fully formatted number with the commas in there and also with 2 decimal places. Now, since I don't have any cents in here and I don't want to see cents, I can click on this little button over here, decimal decrease. Click it twice, those decimals go away, okay? Now, so I put in my sales for the first 4 months of 2016. I want to sum those. If I click in the box right below that and I go up here to the far right top and I click auto sum, it creates a box all the way up to the top. But what you'll notice here is that it's including my header, 2016. That's not one of my sales. That is the actual header for the row. So now the total says 12,516, but that's including 2016. If I click on that again and if I click into the box, it shows me what I'm summing. So I want to move this box back down just so that it's covering up January, February, March, and April, and hit enter again. So what was my total for the 4 months? It's $10,500, okay? So everyone follow me? That was last year. Now, let me go into 2017, okay? I'm gonna go into January 2017. I really rocked it out this January. Last January I did 3,000. This January I did 4,000, okay? February I did 2,000. March I did 3,000. And in April, I kind of took a little time off. Actually April, I came down with the flu bug and I decided that, my health was more important than going out and trying to get other people sick. So I only did 2,000. Okay, so I'm going to key that in right there. Now, here's the cool part about Excel. I've created a formula here, this sum formula under 2016. If I Control C and it starts flashing like this, that means I'm ready to copy that cell. So hit Control C or right click and hit copy, same thing. And now I'm copying that formula. And if I right click again, I can hit paste special formulas. Boom. Now I have the same formula in there. So that's adding up my 4 months of 2017. Now I'm at $11,000 for 2017. So I did $500 better. Again, since I'm anal and I want to reformat this, I want it to look pretty, I'm going to make these all with commas. I also want to put a border underneath here because that signifies, I'm summing everything above that. So if I highlight those, click on this borders drop down and hit bottom border, I get a bottom border right there, okay? So now I have in my spreadsheet my sales from 2016 and 2017 by month. A huge question that we always get is, how do I calculate my percentage increase, right? Like, how do you guys do that? We're gonna go through that right now, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna put in here is VAR dollar amount. That means variance dollars, okay? So the variance is going to be 2017. So I hit equals first. I'll do that again for you. Equals, press over to 2017 January minus 2016 January, okay? So now I get 1,000, right? I did 1,000 more in January 2017 than I did in 2016. Again, awesome thing about Excel. I don't have to do that 5 more times or 4 more times. I can just Control C, that flashing box means I'm ready to copy, highlight this, and Control V, paste the same formula into all of those cells, all right? So just like I said, now I've done $500 more this year than last year, but you can see it by month. 1,000 more in January, 500 more in February, 1,000 more in March, 2,000 more in April, okay? Now, the next column, I want to do my percentage increase, okay? So I'm going to hit VAR, which means variance again, percentage, and hit enter. That's my header. I'm going to go back up again because I'm anal, and I'm going to center those, and I'm going to put a border around all of it, okay? Now, to calculate my percentage increase through this method, I'm going to hit it equals. My numerator is, my first number is going to be the variance dollars and then divided by what I did in 2016, okay? So C6, E6 divided by C6, hit enter. It's 0.333333, right? Well, what I want to see that in a percentage. So I go up to this little percentage right up here, percent style, click on that, 33%, okay? Again, the awesome part about Excel, and I'll do this more manually here, click on the cell, right click, copy, highlight, right click, paste. I can hit formulas and it comes up, okay? Now now that I still have it highlighted, I want to turn those into percentages. So let me turn those into percentages. And I have my answer here. So January, my percent variance was 33%. I did 33% better in January. Next one is February, did 33% better in February. March, 50% better in March. But April, down 50%, right? So for the 4 months, year over year, I was up 5%. So we can follow that. Those are a lot of just the basic formulas that you can use in Excel. Now, this is sales. I could put other things in here, like, I could track my personal budget in Excel, right? How much am I spending each month using these same things? And how much percentage increase or decrease that is. Now, the last thing that I want to show you in here is if you go back in and I highlight that whole group, right? I want to show you the sort function. So if I highlight this and I click on data and sort right here, I get to sort by which column I want. It automatically comes up and it thinks that you have headers, okay? We don't have headers. I just selected the things that I actually want to sort, so I need to uncheck this my data has headers box, okay? I take that out and I go here and I go column B, I want to sort by month, or I don't want to sort by month. I want to sort by variance. I want to see the variance dollars that I did the best year over year. So in column E, I'm going to sort by column E. I select E on values, but I want to sort largest to smallest. Okay, so it's going to sort all this based on this column, column E. Click that. So I had 2 months where I tied, right? Now my months aren't in, chronological or calendar order. They're now sorted by which month I did best in year over year. So I did $1,000 better in January, $1,000 better in March, only $500 better in February, and I was down $2,000 in April. Now you can do this for a number of different things, right? Say you want to look at your sales, you want to look at your profit, all that information that's available in our advanced reporting, or even maybe you have a team and you want to pull out how your team did and sort that highest to lowest, or do the variance percentage. Although it is calculated in the advanced reporting, this is a way for you to use Excel for other things too and learn new skills. So I'm glad that you joined me. Next up is going to be Mitch Haas, and he's going to take the very elementary and basic Excel knowledge that I just spoke about and expand on that and do some more advanced functions and sorting and things for those consultants out there that are using Excel. They say, Chris, I already know the stuff you're talking about. I got this. I learned that a long time ago. Mitch is the master. Learn from the master. He's coming up next.
Hi ladies, Mitch Haas here. A lot of great stuff Chris went over there. A lot of awesome new tools to anybody that hasn't really gotten their feet wet in Excel very often. If you're not in there, you're not messing with it, you're not really in Excel every single day, that's some awesome stuff to kind of start with. But I want to talk for a second to the people who have done that stuff. They've mastered those beginning steps, those kinds of basics, and they want to actually use Excel not only for reporting, but as kind of like an analytic tool to see how each part of their team is doing and manage their business, and do a couple of more advanced functions that can help you out as a sponsor, as a leader in your business. So we're going to jump right in here. Right now on my screen, I have a Downline performance report. So right now by default, exporting this from advanced reporting, I've done a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of reformatting here. So, but by default, it sorts it by downline level. So you've got your first downline, second downline, so on and so forth. We've got consultant ID of each person on your team, the consultant name, and then what their current level is, their retail in 2016 versus their retail in 2017, their retail growth percentage, and then the same information for their sponsorship numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to answer a couple of questions that would be very common for a sponsor to ask about their team. How is my team segmentation doing by level? How do my national directors stack up versus my advanced consultants? What's productivity kind of like on my team year over year, and kind of do those managerial kind of things. So we'll dive in right here. So I'm going to open up a new tab. Let's first figure out what the retail by level is. So we'll go ahead and name this retail by level. If I can spell correctly, that would really help out. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to look at each one of your consultant levels. So we are going to highlight and copy all of these levels, and then we are going to paste them on this page. Now, you obviously don't have 50 different national directors. We're going to want to aggregate these by level, and we are going to want to do that by using the remove duplicates function. So you're going to go up here on your ribbon to data, and then you're going to click remove duplicates. It's going to ask you where you want to remove them from. You're going to click OK. So now you're down to just your main levels. So what we're going to do now is we are going to sort this real quick so that your executive directors are at the top, national directors, so on and so forth. So rather than doing A to Z, which is what it's going to default, you're going to go to custom list. Now, if you want to make a new entry, I already, since I'm in this every day, I've created a custom list of each one of the levels that you can choose within Pure Romance. You can go in and you can manually type each one of these in the order that you want to the first time that you set this up. Luckily, I already have it set up. So you're gonna hit OK. So now it'll be sorted by hierarchy. You've got your executive directors on top, national, so on and so forth. So first we wanna answer the question of how many people we have at each level on your team. So we're going to do a consultant count, and then we're going to do a 2017 retail amount. So to do this, we're going to use two different functions. We're going to use count if and sum if. Both are very similar, but they do two very different things. You're going to count the number of instances of each level name for the count, so then you'll arrive at the number of people you have sitting at each one of these levels, and then we're going to do sum if, and we're going to reference the level to pull in the retail at each level. So to get started, you push in equals, and then you start typing count, and then it'll display all of your options here. We're going to go with count if. Open parentheses. Now it gives this little guide here to kind of guide you on how to build out the formula. The range is the area that you want to look for this little guy in. So you're going to go back to this tab right here. You're going to go up and you're going to highlight this. Now, I don't want to lose anybody here. You're going to notice up on your formula bar, if we can go back to that, it's going to say E5 to E47. So that highlights the range. Now, in order to lock this in, Excel uses the money sign, the dollar sign, in order to lock in references. If you put a money sign in front of the letter of the column or the number, it's going to not let it move. So if you're doing what we're about to do, where you're going to fill down the formula, it'll automatically attempt to move your referenced range down with it. By locking it in, putting a dollar sign in front of each one of those pieces, it will make it not move if you fill that down. So you'll see what I mean right here. A shortcut is to push F4 when you're on here, and it's going to put a dollar sign in front of each one of these. So you're going to go ahead and do that. So now we've got our range selected to look for the quality in. You're going to push comma and then criteria. So we're looking for this right here. So now that we've got executive director, you're looking in your range. You're going to close your parentheses. And now you'll notice that we locked in these references with the dollar signs. We didn't lock this in because as we fill this down, we're going to want it to reference whatever cell is right next to the one that the cell is in. So you have this person has 6 executive directors on their team. You fill it down by grabbing that little right-hand corner and then filling it down. So you can see they've got 6 executive directors, 3 national directors, 10 senior directors, so on and so forth. Now we're going to want to do the same thing. We'll go through it a little bit quicker for retail 2017. So now we're going to use sum if, which is pretty much the same syntax right here. So it's going to ask you for your range again. Again, same thing. We're going to want to reference the column that has the consultant level. We're going to lock in our references. You're going to push comma. You're going to go back to your first tab. You're looking for executive directors in that range, and then comma. Now, the one extra piece here is sum range. So you've told it what column you want to look for the quality in. Now you want to say what column you want to sum up. So we're going to, for retail 2017, you're going to click the first cell, click the last cell. Again, lock in your cell references, close the parentheses, and push enter. So there you go. That right there is the total amount of money coming in 2017 so far from your executive directors. Now, that's just a random number, so we're going to format that. We're going to click accounting, this little dollar sign right here. There's no cents right here. We're interested in dollars, so we're going to click this twice to get rid of the decimals. And then you're going to fill down this, and it's going to bring that formatting down with it as well. So that's awesome. You know, there's $277,000 coming from your executive directors among 6 people, $165,000 coming from your national among 3 people. So we're going to want to look at productivity. Now, you're going to add productivity right here. And we're going to say, on average, on a person-by-person basis, how much is each one of the people at that level contributing toward the overall sales for the year. So we're going to do a quick formula here. We're going to type in equals, and we're going to do the 277,000 by clicking that, and then divided by, and then the 6. So on a per person basis, there you go. Excel has my back. They correct me when it needs to happen. So on a per person basis, on average, your executive directors year to date have done $46,000. Now, filling that down, you can see what each one of your levels has done. So because I like things to look pretty, if you want to if you're a more visual person and you want to color code things, if you go up here to conditional formatting, you can see where all of your money is coming from in a table like this by going to color scales and then going, I like this one right here, where it shows lowest being in white, highest in green. Now, there's a lot of different conditional formatting that you can add on this kind of a thing, but for this kind of a use case, that's probably the most useful that you can do. You can clean it up a little bit, and that's how you would do a count if and sum if function, and then look at productivity on your team. So this person, you can see their national directors are on a person-by-person basis, on average more productive than their executive directors. So that might be something that might shine a little bit of a light on coaching opportunities for you as a leader, and it kind of starts to get more useful when you grind down to a more granular person-by-person basis. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our main team retail sales document right here. And we're going to dive into the next piece. We're going to do a Vlookup. Now, for this piece, I know that if you ask my wife, I can get a little bit long-winded when explaining things. So I promise you, if you stick with me to the end of this, you'll see a picture of a puppy playing with a soccer ball as a reward for making it through Vlookups. So let's dive into it. What we're going to do is we want to see on a person-by-person basis who attended a local team training. So let's say that you had a team training and you had a sign-in sheet. So right here, the person would put their consultant ID, their name, and so on and so forth. So you've got your list of everybody who came to your training. So we're going to want to isolate those people who came to the training and see how they performed versus those who didn't come to the training. So since everybody on this list came, we're going to basically do a Vlookup against each person to see whether or not they came. So we're going to, as a reference column, we'll just name this ref just to keep it straight in our own minds. And every single one of these people is going to say yes. So to save yourself time so you don't have to get carpal tunnel typing in the word yes 50 times, if you highlight both of those and then you hover your mouse right here so that turns into crosshairs, double click it, it's going to fill down the range. So then you've got everybody marked as yes for having attended the training. So if you go back here to Team Retail Sales, we're going to add a column right here. So you click right here before F. I want to put it before Retail Sales. Right click, hit Insert, and then we're going to say attended training ? Again, spelling is not my strong suit. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Vlookup against the sign-in sheet to isolate those who said yes, but then we're going to use what's called an error handler for those who actually did not, to flag them rather than getting an error. So first, we'll just go through and we'll do the Vlookup without the error handler. So if you type in equals Vlookup, open parentheses, first, again, your little guide here, it's gonna walk you through how to build out the formula. So lookup value. Since the unique identifier in our business is consultant ID, we're gonna look up consultant ID. So click the consultant ID of the person in the same row as that you're looking at. You're gonna hit comma, table array. So this is the same as range as we were looking at in the last sheet. So with a Vlookup, since we're looking up consultant ID, that has to be in the leftmost column that you select. So it's going to look it up in the first column. So consultant ID, we're going to go over here all the way to highlight the whole table. So you'll see this little guider right here. It's going to say that you've gone over 3 columns. That helps us here in just a second, because we're going to need to know we're looking up the ID in this column and we want to pull back the value that's 3 columns over from that. So we're going to highlight the range. We're going to lock in the reference coordinates. You're going to hit comma. So in column index number, again, it said 3. So we're going to pull back the 3rd column value. So then range lookup, true or false. You're going to always want to use false on this one. True will pull back an approximate match. Since we want to pull back an exact match, we want to pull back the person who the consultant ID is associated with, we're going to say false. Gun to my head, I couldn't tell you why they made that true or false, but I just have learned you got to make it false to get an exact match. So awesome. So it pulled back yes. Person number 1 was a great team member, and they went to the training. So we're going to again put the little crosshair on the bottom right hand corner. We're going to fill this down. You're going to notice all of the yeses pulled back, but then all these errors where it says #NA. That's not a cool Twitter hashtag, that's an error. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna go back to our formula, and we're gonna build in an error handler, because essentially each one of these errors is saying the person does not appear on the sign-in list, therefore they didn't attend. So rather than returning an error, we're gonna wanna go up here to the formula bar, click before the V in Vlookup, and we're gonna type in all one word, if error, and then open parentheses. Value that it's looking for, it's going to be your formula right here. So it's going to basically say, if this returns an error, then what do you want instead of an error? So we're going to hit comma, and we're going to put in quotes, no, because they did not attend the training. So you're going to go back up here, you're going to double click, fill it down. So now you've got your yeses and you've got your nos. So now you've flagged every single person that came to the training. We'll just go ahead and line that up. Now we're going to use conditional formatting for criteria here. So highlight cell rules, we're going to say text that contains. We want to flag those people that didn't come. So anything that says no, we're going to fill with red fill with dark red text. Okay, make it seem ominous. And then similarly, we'll say text that contains yes. And then we're going to change this to green fill. So now you've flagged your people who have attended versus those that did not attend the training. So that's all well and good. Looks like a Christmas tree. I'm with you, Mitch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a cohort analysis, which is just a overly complicated way of saying, see how the people that attended did versus those that didn't. So we're going to highlight this. We're going to go back to retail by level where we kind of aggregated all this stuff. And then we're going to paste. Oh, sorry, that's actually a good lesson too. So since I just did Control V, or if you do this, it's gonna paste the actual formula itself. So right now, it's looking up this, which is not a consultant ID. So that's why it's bouncing back no for everybody. So what we're gonna do is instead you right click, or I'm sorry, let me delete this, and then we'll go back, copy. And instead of pasting, to get rid of the formula and only paste the values, you do this little clipboard that says 1, 2, 3. So there we go. So it maintained the conditional formatting here, but it only pasted the values. You'll notice that the formula is no longer there. So we're going to want to go ahead up here. We only want to sort out the no's versus the yeses. We're going to remove duplicates again. So now we're left with just no or yes. So now we're going to do the exact same thing that we did over here. We're going to copy and then paste. And we're going to say how many people attended the training. So equals count if range. We're going to highlight this now. So we're going to look for instances of yes versus no. We're going to lock the cell reference, comma, criteria, yes, 26. So she had 26 people attend and 17 people did not. Out of a total, we're going to do just a sum. Make that bold. So out of 43 people, 26 people attended, which for frame of reference is, format this as a percentage, 60.47% of her team attended the training. So those other 40%, let's see how they did. Did it make a material difference? Was the training that you held as a team leader effective? What you're going to want to do then is the same thing as we did before for the retail by level. We're going to say sum if range. Again, we're looking to see those that attended versus those that didn't. Lock the cell reference, criteria, yes, comma, and then the sum range. We're going to look at the retail 2017 here. We're going to lock the reference, and then enter. So format this as dollars, fill it down. So the 26 people did 1,027,000 versus 619,000 that the 17 did that did not attend. So what's the productivity of that? You can do the same thing, the retail divided by number of people. So on average, each person that attended the training did 39,000 for the year versus those that didn't, that did 46,000. So obviously, I kind of randomized this, so hopefully your team training leads to a bit more of an increase in those kinds of retail sales. But that's how you can kind of test and see how effective your training is, looking for that difference between those that went to the training versus those that didn't. So finally, we're just going to go back and we're going to see. We're going to do. Okay, we're going to add a column here. And we want to pull in their contact information. We're going to pull in their email address from your team contacts page. So I went through just a generic email addresses here. We want to pull back the contact information for all of them, because let's say that you want to reach out to those people who did not attend your training and you want to give them a helpful little push. Maybe you have some PDFs that you used in your presentation. Maybe you have some training resources that you want to direct them to since they missed that training. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another Vlookup here. So email Vlookup. We're going to look up the consultant ID, comma, table array. Go back to your team contacts. We're going to look up the consultant ID and then go over to email address, which is in the third column over. Lock cell references, comma. We're going to say 3 to look it up in the third column, comma, and false, as always. So now we've got person1@gmail.com. Very prestigious Gmail address. There you go. So now let's say that we want to just go ahead and, for the sake of best practices in Excel, sometimes when you do a sort, your cell references can get messed up. We're about to do a multi-layered sort here. And so if you don't want your references to get messed up, anything like that, if it's looking at another table, you can copy it and then, oops, sorry about that. You can copy it, then you can right click, paste just the values. You'll notice again, formula is gone, the VLOOKUP, all that hard work is gone, just the email address now. So if you want to do a sort, click the upper left-hand corner of your table, and we're going to highlight going down. Then you go up to data, and we're going to do first we're going to filter. Let's only look at the people who did not attend the training. So you're going to click that little drop-down menu. We only want to look at those people who didn't come to kick out the email to those people. So we're going to remove those that did come. So now you've got person 2, 5, the downline level. So you've got the people by downline level. These people in 1, 2, 3, and you had 2 people in 4. So let's say right here that we want to prioritize who we're going to be reaching out to. So we're going to do a sort. So we're going to say, regardless of downline level, I want to see who is by level from highest to lowest, executive director, national on down, and then sort it by retail amounts after that. So you're going to say sort, and you're going to sort by first current level. It's going to default to A to Z. Go back to our custom list that we did before. You're going to say executive director national on down. Okay. Now to add a level, you're going to click add level right there. Very complex and confusing language they use there. So then it's going to say sort by, so current level, then by. So it's going to prioritize secondly retail 2017. It's going to default to smallest to largest. Let's do largest to smallest. So you're going to hit OK. So now you've got person 5 and number 1, followed by 7 and 9. All 3 are executive directors. None of them attended your training. And then you've got them by their highest to lowest within each consultant level. You have their retail 2017. Now, just because I like things to look pretty again, let's add a gradient here just so you can visualize how it sorted these. We're going to color scale, and we're going to go, let's go, the highest has green and the lowest has red this time. So now you've got sorted by level, highest to lowest retail within each level. And so you can kind of target who you need to work with. Like this person didn't attend the training, but 64,000, they did the best out of this group of people. They might need the least amount of assistance with it. This person, advanced consultant, didn't attend the training and came in the lowest in sales. Maybe you focus on a one-on-one with them, work on coaching them, maybe hook them up with a mentor, and then you can kind of go down your list and you can prioritize who you want to email. So good way of sorting out your contact list, prioritizing who to work with on your team, see where the money is coming from by doing the count ifs and sum ifs over on this table, looking at how effective your trainings were, and there's just countless other things you can do with Excel. It's a very versatile tool. I absolutely love it. I'm a huge nerd. My wife makes fun of me, but I think that if you get in there and you play with it and you see the value that it can add to your business and how much time it can save you in managing your team so that you have more time for yourself rather than just trying to work with your team and manage them, I think that you will be very happy that you spent the time learning it. So as I promised, thank you for sticking with me. Here's a picture of a puppy playing with the soccer ball. Thank you for joining us. If you have any issues or you have any additional questions, you want to learn more about Excel, email us at finance@pureromance.com. I think Bob can hook me up with that graphic, that little like star wipe or something. So finance@pureromance.com. We'd be happy to help you and give any kind of coaching on utilizing Excel to better run your business. Thanks, and join us next time on Tech Talk.